Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Friday, June 10th live stream for studentloanjustice.org. Lots is going on right now, folks. If you're new to the group, welcome. Glad you found us. We're the oldest, largest, first, in many ways, only true grassroots group fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. We will be going on the air tonight on the Rick Smith Show. So if you Google Rick Smith Show, we're going to be on there at 10 p.m. Eastern time. So be sure and check it out. I don't know if it's a call-in show or what it is. It's a pretty famous show, though, I see. He has pretty good guests on there, including yours truly, if I might, may be so bold to say that. Anyways, if you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter, if you have any questions or comments, throw them out there. And if I can see them, I will gladly respond to them. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, the lay of the land is this. Our bill is in the same spot as it was 2-3 weeks ago, a month ago. The bill is very well positioned. And we haven't seen any legislative action on the bill. But I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that we have seen some very interesting and important Republicans come forward and call publicly for the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans. So that bodes very well for us. Our bill, S-2598 in the Senate, Senator Dick Durbin is the sponsor. Republicans John Cornyn and Josh Hawley are the two co-sponsors of the bill. It's in perfect position to pass. If it was put up for a full vote in the Senate today, it would probably pass by, I don't know, 65 or 70 votes. That's my guess. I'm not a whip. Like Dick Durbin is the majority whip. Dick Durbin is also the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. I am not a whip, but I think I can probably count votes pretty well. And I think that all opposition has to our bill, S-2598, has essentially evaporated. So I can only hope. Oh, and by the way, a couple days ago, Dick Durbin on the Senate floor remade the very strong argument for the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans and said, and I expect to have something much more to say about that in the near future, I think he said. I don't know if that's verbatim, but he said something to that effect. So all bodes well for getting the right of bankruptcy returned to student loans. Now, if you're new to the group, you're probably saying to yourself, I don't want to file for bankruptcy. Why? What? Bankruptcy? That's terrible. I want these loans canceled. We all want these loans canceled. None of us like bankruptcy. That's not the point. We are not going to see meaningful anything from President Biden or the Department of Education unless and until we get the constitutional right of bankruptcy returned to us. Bankruptcy is the only type of loan in our nation's history to be uniquely precluded, uniquely stripped of the constitutional right of bankruptcy. And I say that because the founding fathers wrote bankruptcy into the Constitution, not the Bill of Rights, into the body of the Constitution itself. So that's very important. Whether you would ever or never file for bankruptcy does not matter. In fact, my best guess is that very few people, maybe no one, will even have to file. But we've got to get that right return. It remains the highest priority of our organization. Because guys, and think about it, just think about, see if you agree or don't agree. What do you really think Biden's going to do in the best, even in the best case scenario in the current politics? Well, I mean, it would seem the best that he's going to do is an up to $50,000 loan cancellation. And most likely it seems like he'll probably do a up to $10,000 loan cancellation. Ladies and gentlemen, that's nonsense. That's fake. Up to could mean anything. Those are lawyer words. It could mean anything, and it will indeed come to mean almost nothing for almost everyone, because that's the way the Department of Education has always rolled. They have no desire or intentions of canceling any loans. I mean, it's just that's you'll have to take my word for that if you haven't looked very closely at this lending program. But I can tell you, over 17 years of looking very closely at this lending program, the Department of Education indeed has no desire or intentions of canceling any loans. If they can possibly not cancel a loan, that is what they will do. They will go to great lengths to not cancel loans. That's always been true. So tonight, guys, I want to play a little game. I call it the what if game. What if this, what if that? And by the way, if you have any what ifs of your own and you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter, and I can see your comments, by all means, throw out a few of your own what ifs if you're interested in us kicking them around. There's a lot of what ifs out there. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Maybe that's the most important thing I'll say right now is that nobody has any clue what's going to happen. Not the people in Washington, D.C., not President Biden, not the Department of Education, not the hordes of propaganda media people who are out against us in the media. They have no clue because they've never seen a lending system so badly and so catastrophically failed like the student loan program has failed. Never. Like even subprime home mortgages, right? Default rate for subprime home mortgages was 20%. So we blew way past a 20% default rate many years ago. In fact, the class of 2004, which was even before we started student loan justice, so that's a long time ago. The class of 2004's lifetime default rate, or let's say the 20-year rate, is 40%, double the subprime home mortgage default rate, 40%. So has the problem gotten better or worse since 2004? It's gotten a lot worse. People are borrowing triple what they borrowed back in 2004. So if the default rate for 2004 students was 40%, what do you think it is for more recent people? It's way over 40%. My best guess is that even before this pandemic, something like 65, 70, 75% of everybody was headed for default. They were going to default on their loans. So this lending system is toast, guys. It's toast. And nobody has any clue what to do. You can tell. I mean, why is the Biden administration continuing to delay and delay and delay? They're afraid to turn the lending program back on because they know what's going to happen. What's going to happen is nothing. Nobody's going to pay. Nobody's going to pay. I would be stunned if 4 months, 5 months after they turned the lending program back on, I would be stunned if even 20% of the people were paying. Before the pandemic, more than half of the people were not paying before the pandemic. Today, almost nobody's paying, obviously, and maybe 8% or something like that, 7, 8%. Whenever they decide to try and turn this lending program back on, guys, nobody is going to pay. Let me put it a different way. If you resume making payments on your student loans when and if they turn this sucker back on or they try to, you will be in the very small minority of all borrowers. And that is true. And if you don't believe me, go to our Medium website, studentloanjustice.medium.com, and you can see all the data that I am speaking from. And any intelligent person that reviews the past 5, 6, 7, 8 papers that we've written, that we've published, our research articles, and looks at the same data that we're looking at, they would be strongly compelled to agree with us. This lending system is toast, ladies and gentlemen. It is done. But there's a lot of what ifs out there, I know. So let me start with the first big what if. What if? Just pie in the sky. What if Joe Biden actually did the right thing? The people at the Department of Education actually did the right thing, acknowledged this failed lending disaster for what it is, and simply canceled all federally owned student loans. And by the way, what if they also, by both executive order and by Congress, return bankruptcy protections to all student loans? What if? Well, here's what would happen. For about 5 seconds, there would be an uproar in the country, and a bunch of angry people would say, "Wah!" And then that would subside. That would go away. You would no longer have student loans, and you could think about planning your life around not having that debt hanging over your head. That's what would happen. Oh, and by the way, you'd probably be feeling pretty good about things and pretty good about the Democrats doing the right thing. And when it comes time to vote next time around, you're probably going to be pretty strongly inclined to reward the party that finally solved this nationally threatening lending scam. And oh, by the way, people would be able to buy houses for the first time. People would finally have the confidence to get married. People would have a long lost sense of optimism and patriotism restored. And the citizens would, by and large, be happier. And I think the economy would do tremendously well, despite whatever obstacles we may be facing right now. There'd be a little extra spring in your step, and probably a lot of other good things. So that's the first what if. So let's go to the other extreme. What if Joe Biden does nothing and the Department of Education does nothing, or let's say keeps doing what they're doing, which is nothing? In that case, here's what's going to happen. Nobody's going to pay this anguish and disgust and bad feelings about the federal government on behalf of 42 million people in the country will be exacerbated greatly. And that 42 million people is going to jump to somewhere around probably 48 or so million people. And not to mention their significant others, their families, their families, their direct significant others. And at the end of the day, as I said, nobody will resume paying what if they try and turn the lending program back on? Nothing good will happen. So that's just maybe the first truth out there. If anybody else has any what ifs, there are some really interesting what ifs out there. What if Joe Biden cancels up to $10,000? Sadly, almost nothing. I mean, a few people, maybe 20% of the people who need the help the least will be happy, and it won't be life-changing for them, but they'll be like, wow, that's a pretty good deal. But for 80% of the people out there, certainly well over half the borrowers, it will be insulting. People like, I always pick on her, but I remember her numbers. So people like Vanjie, who borrowed $26,000, repaid nearly $100,000, still owes $26,000. Still owes $132,000. So if Joe Biden were to knock $10,000 off of her debt, she would now owe only $122,000 on this $26,000 debt. I think she would be insulted. I think most of the people who have been hurt the worst by this lending scam would be badly insulted, and they're not going to be inclined to go vote for Democrats in November. Are you stupid? Of course not. And there's another what if. What if Joe Biden goes all the way and cancels up to $50,000, like the most that supposedly we can hope for in the current political climate? Same thing, guys. Number one, not one dime of that money will be canceled before the election. There probably will be a few people who think they're going to get the full 50,000 and they'll be done and they'll be thrilled. And then they will realize probably quite shortly after the election that, oh, wait a minute. No. You don't get 50,000. You earn too much. You don't get anything. Or you didn't fill out your paperwork correctly. You don't get anything. Or We can determine your earnings. So yeah, no, you get nothing. Because you earn $70,000 a year and we're means testing, you get $3,000. You get 13 grand. Congratulations. But most people will get very little. It'll come to almost nothing for almost everybody. It'll be run exactly the same way the Department of Education has run every loan cancellation gimmick ever put to them. That includes the income-based repayment program. That includes public service loan forgiveness. That includes the pay-as-you-earn, the income contingent repayment, the revised pay-as-you-earn. You name it. It will be a joke. And I think maybe the most important question is are enough people going to be thrilled, sight unseen, with an up to $50,000 loan cancellation that they're going to come out and vote in sufficient numbers to allow the Democrats to maintain their power in Congress? I don't think so, ladies and gentlemen. You know, more than half of all student loan borrowers and the people being hurt the worst are over 35 years of age. And many of us are over 50. And we've seen this nonsense between the Republicans and the Democrats go on for years. We're not going to believe this nonsense pie in the sky bullshit up to $50,000. No, it's not going to be believable. So I'm sure a few of us will feel more confident in voting for a Democrat, which half of us were going to do anyways. But is that going to compel the independent people to maybe vote for the Democrats versus the Republicans? I don't think so. I kind of doubt it. And maybe the more important question is that going to compel people to get out and vote at all in the first place? Probably not. We're not stupid, guys. The people aren't stupid. And we know intrinsically what that brings. And what that brings is a bunch of bullshit. And people are not stupid. Hey, I see we have quite a few comments here tonight. Let me get to them quickly. And if you have any what ifs out there you want to throw out, I'd be happy to throw them around. Evelyn's with us tonight again. Hey, Evelyn. Terry Dodd as well is with us. Hey, Terry. Terry says earlier this week, the Secretary of Education said that the pause might be extended beyond the August 31st deadline, but I'll believe it when I see it because we all know next nobody will resume paying. Do those important daily action, Terry Dodd says. We can't throw in the towel now. Don't fall for the up to promises. Well, thank you, Terry. You pretty much stole all my thunder. And that's I agree exactly with everything Terry just said. Who knows? They're gonna be dangling this repayment extension out for us. I think they're probably idiots if they don't extend it because it's going to be carnage come November if they don't. So I think they will. But yeah, the main thing that you need to know, particularly if you're new to the group, this stuff does not happen in a vacuum, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a bill to fight for right now, and we need you fighting for it. Unless and until we get the threat of bankruptcy back, we're not going to see any kind of meaningful loan cancellation. It's just not going to happen. Now, when we get bankruptcy back, all of a sudden, everything changes in Washington, D.C., because they're going to have to cancel loans then, very broadly, very meaningfully. They're going to have to clear the decks of all their bad paper. Because trust me, the one thing Joe Biden does not want is to be the president on whose watch the largest wave of bankruptcy filings in American history happened, including going back and before the Great Depression. Joe Biden does not want that. And that's a possibility if they were to simply return bankruptcy protections and allow the courts to be overwhelmed. They're not going to do that. It's not a reality. With bankruptcy back, everything changes. And unless bankruptcy comes back, then nothing the department says or does can be trusted. And that's 17 years of hard-earned wisdom talking to you there with that statement. Believe it. Do our daily actions, Terry Dodd says. That's so important. If you go to our website, studentloanjustice.org, you will see the daily actions. We need you helping with that. But for this group right here, I know it doesn't seem like we're a big deal, but we are. We would not have this bill S2598 to fight for, but for the people on this group and us fighting for this bill. In fact, and particularly for those who are new to the group, we would not be talking about loan cancellation by executive order, but for the people on this group. Nobody was talking, almost nobody, maybe one or two people were talking about canceling student loans by executive order, like literally one or two people, period, in the country. Besides us, we're talking about canceling student loans by executive order before, say, summer 2019. And no writer in the media had written anything about even the concept. It was only when we did an interview with Vice News in August 2019 that reporters began even discussing the possibility of the president even being able to cancel student loans by executive order. And it was only until maybe 6 months after we started the petition in March 2020 calling on the president, then President Trump, to cancel student loans by executive order. 6 months after that, when Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer embraced the concept and made a Senate bill calling on then President Trump to cancel up to $50,000 in student loans by executive order. We're thrilled that Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren did that, but we're very not thrilled with this nonsensical, arbitrary, politically contrived up to $50,000 cap that they put on everything. That was stupid. There was no good reason for it. It's a trick. It's a Washington, D.C. trick. And shame on Elizabeth Warren for doing that, quite frankly. We're a nonpartisan group, by the way. We kind of hate both parties at this point. We kind of don't really even care who wins whatever. All we care is about who is fighting for us. We will support all and any politicians fighting for us. And that's not partisan. We tell the truth, and we say terrible things about Republicans because they deserve it. And we say very not good things and sometimes terrible things about Democrats because they earn it. And that's how we roll, just so you know. So we're not a political group. If you're a Republican, you're very welcome here. If you're a Democrat, you're very welcome here. If you're a libertarian, a green, Buddhist, you are very welcome. We don't care. All we're trying to do is solve a problem here. That's it. So good point, Evelyn, or good point, I should say, Terry. And let me just expand these comments so that I can see them and read more of them out. There's a lot of what ifs out there, though. I know. What if they cancel up to $50,000 and they don't return bankruptcy? That's the worst what if ever. If before the election, Joe Biden says, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to cancel up to $50,000 and bankruptcy remains gone, we're screwed. We are screwed, guys. I guarantee you 100% we are screwed. This is the same trick that the swamp has played on us many, many times, going back to 2007. We do not want that to happen. And don't believe any groups out there claiming to be fighting for student loan borrowers who are like, yeah, up to $50,000. That's what we want. That's bullshit. That's a trick. And whatever group is telling you that that's awesome is tricking you. Don't believe them. Like Student Debt Crisis, for example, to name just one of the fake groups out there. But I digress. So there's a lot of what ifs out there. Maybe the most important thing, maybe I'll even close with this, keep it short tonight, this fine Friday night. The biggest what if is what we do. What we do is the biggest unknown factor in this whole deal. This stuff does not happen in a vacuum. What we do, what you do, matters big time. You have no idea how important you are. Here's the best what if. What if one of our members was to spend some time and some energy, maybe to get together with their state chapter group, whatever they do. Somehow, one of our members convinces a Republican governor to look at the student loan debt problem in their state, like Texas, for example, which was $141 billion, or Florida, which was $120 billion. These are cartoonish numbers, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the state budget of Texas is like $120 billion. The people of Texas owe $20 billion more than their entire state budget in student loan debt. Any governor with a rational mind should look at numbers like that. And it's not just Texas, it's the entire South. It's over a third of US states where student loan debt exceeds the state budget. Any governor looking at those numbers and speaking honestly would be like, what happened? How did my state get conquered and enslaved by this federal lending scam? So what if one of our members was able to convince Greg Abbott of Texas or Brian Kemp of Georgia, Georgia's maybe the worst state in the country. What if one of our members were able to convince one of those governors to stand up and say, Mr. President, enough. This lending scam has gone on too long. Mr. President, I don't care about party. I don't care about nothing. I care about my state. Mr. President, cancel these loans. If even one Republican, we're a nonpartisan group, but we're very partisan aware. If even one Republican governor was to stand up and say that, and they should, all of them should, and I would be very happy to argue with any of them that they should, and I will convince them if given the opportunity. If that happened, this problem would be pretty much done, guys. That's pretty much game over. We win. So that's something that any one person in these groups, you, maybe me, probably not me though. I've done enough. I think I'm like the when you live near the ocean and you no longer hear the waves. That's kind of like me. So, and I don't have any special connections to any governors per se, but probably not going to be me. But it could very well be you. You could be the person to knock over that first domino and literally save this country. Think about that. You know, the founding fathers were very worried. John Adams said there are two ways to conquer and enslave a country. One is by the sword, the other is by debt. We are looking down the barrel of that second thing right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very dangerous, dangerous position we find ourselves in. And this injustice that we're fighting goes well beyond student loans. Because if they can do to other loans what they did to student loans, and they can, if we let them, if we let this dangerous precedent hold, we are going to be a vassal serf country, serf state, vassal state, slave state in probably 30 years. That could happen. Tyranny is not far away, guys. Hopefully some of you are of a certain age and have certain appreciation and knowledge of history to know that the line between having a free state and a tyrannical state is a very thin line. And we've got to hold that line. And holding that line means we cannot let this student loan injustice, blatant injustice, stand. We cannot. So we're fighting for far more than just ourselves, guys. Hey, Leslie Fishman says, FYI, I'm getting ban notifications from Twitter. Yeah, good point, Leslie. Number one, if you want to really help us, and we need your help, get a Twitter account, please. I hate Twitter. You hate Twitter. Everybody hates Twitter. Twitter helps. 80% of our daily actions are on Twitter. Get a Twitter account, please. Having said that, we have noticed that some, not many, but some of our members report getting suspended on Twitter. Usually for retweeting our stuff, which is like a big thing that we do, like retweet this, retweet that. I don't have any good guidance for you on that, Leslie. What I can tell you is that, and I don't know how the algorithms of Twitter works, but I am told that if you do more than just retweet stuff, and particularly for a new account, that will hopefully prevent you from getting banned. So leave some comments, do some replies, do some, I don't know, maybe some quote tweets. Try and mix up your tweets a little bit and don't just retweet. If all you do is retweet, you'll probably raise some flags. That's the best I can do for you. Hey, Kelly Smith is with us tonight. How's it going, Kelly? Thank you for the Kelly. Love is in Kelly's heart tonight. Kelly, one of our very longtime members from California, by the way. Kelly was kind enough to meet me at a shopping mall in Central California in January or February 2007 in wine country, California. And I seem to remember Kelly shoved a $20 bill in my hand, said, "Thanks, man." And Kelly, I appreciate that, man. I never forgot. So it's so sad that we're still here 17 years later. Very sad, but yeah, no, I don't have any great answers for you on that, Leslie. So I'm going to wrap it up, guys. There's a lot of what ifs out there. And the biggest what if in my mind is, what if everybody on this group, not like 2% or less, was actually doing our daily actions every day? If even 10% of all of our members were doing our daily actions every day, that would be well over 100,000 people blowing the F out of other Twitter accounts of politicians, decision makers, media people, famous people, celebrities, etc. It would be us physically, literally shutting down the phone banks of every congressional office in Washington, D.C. every day. That's what that would be. We've got like 1.3 million people in our group, at least on paper. And on any given day, I only see a few thousand people doing anything at most. That's not going to win this battle for us, guys. I want these loans gone. I want them gone. Starts with bankruptcy, but whatever. I want these loans. We might do a Hail Mary with convincing a Republican governor to do that thing I just said. Who knows? I don't know what the future holds. What I do know is that way more people, including you and me and everybody I've seen here tonight, I have nothing but good things to say about everybody whose names I've mentioned so far. I salute everybody out there who is doing the hard daily grind. And it's not that hard. It's actually really easy. It probably takes about 2 minutes a fucking day, pardon my French, to do our daily actions. It is not hard. If even 10% of our members were doing that, that would be 150 or so thousand people blowing up Washington, D.C., not literally, but figuratively. That would be game over, we win. Game over, we win. If you want that, then walk the talk. Do our daily actions every day. And if you're sitting here watching us going, yeah, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Nah, I won't. If you're not going to do our daily actions, then hit the bricks. We don't want you here. You bother us and you irritate us, and just go, because we don't want you if you're not helping. This is a working, fighting group. We want these loans gone, and we know the right path to get them gone. And either you're helping or you're not. And if you're not, hit the bricks, because we're done with you. We don't want you here. And I hope I speak for everybody here. I think I do, who's actually doing the work. And it's not hard work, guys. You're not better than us, by the way. Don't ever forget that. You are not better than us. You know, we have Harvard lawyers in our group. We have Harvard graduates who are doing our daily actions. So and I'm not saying Harvard people, well, I guess I am. Harvard people aren't better than us either, by the way. I can't stand Harvard, just so you know. But you certainly are not better than us. So don't forget that. Hey, Terry Dodd. Oh, I already read that comment. All right, guys, I'm sorry if I missed any of your comments, but I am going to leave it there at that. It is a Friday night. I know everybody wants to get started on their weekend. I've never been more optimistic than I am right now here tonight speaking to you. I truly mean that. And I've said that before, and I've meant it every time, and I still mean it, because it is more true today than it was a week ago. We're so close, guys. You have no idea how freaking close we are. But we still have to go that last little bit. Is a couple minutes a day not worth getting these loans handled for you? I think it is. Go to Student Loan Justice and do our flipping daily actions. And if you've got some suggestions for daily actions, let me know. This is not a freaking, this is not like a tyrant. Our group is a very purposely weak group. Like, we accept good ideas from wherever they come. If you've got some good ideas for a daily action, let me know. And if it's not completely stupid, I'll probably do it. So yeah, I mean, we try to be very inclusive that way. And good idea. We are a meritocracy on this group. The people doing the work are the people who stand out in the group and who I will mention their names and stuff like that. So that's how that works. But help us, guys. It starts with you. It always has. We will get nowhere unless and until you start helping. And if you've been helping, as I've already said, I salute you. You know, I don't even have to tell you. We are the pioneers, guys. We are the pioneers. We are the thought leaders in this whole issue. We are not only the tip of the spear, we are the spear in many ways. We are not only the eye of the storm, we are the freaking wind. We are the air. So don't forget that. And by the way, I'm convincing people everywhere I go. Today I got an email from a woman saying, "You don't need to pay your loan. You need to quit bumming for free stuff." Da, 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 da. So I had an exchange with her. And the very last email she sent me was, "I just want to say I apologize. I am truly sorry. I had no idea. You need to spread the word about this everywhere." That was her last email to me. So this is we're on the winning team, guys, whether it seems like it or not. We are. The founding fathers are on our side. They're probably looking down saying, why are people so weak? Why are they so intimidated? Throw the fear off. Get rid of the shame, the intimidation. We got this. Don't ever forget that. But it starts with you helping where you live. And so there's lots of good news out there just waiting to be had. And that starts with you. So, okay, guys, you know what to do. I will shut up. Have a great Friday night. I will be back on Sunday. Make something happen over the weekend and tell us about it so we can brag about it. Surprise us. How about? We love surprises. We love good surprises. So get something done and surprise us with us. Get us an interview somewhere, or get your own interview, or get a news station to do a story. You can think of stuff. You're smart. You've been to college. But have a good weekend. I'll see you on Sunday. Good luck, Godspeed, and God bless everyone. Let's make this happen. Peace.